Saying hi, what's up,
Oh,
Baba?
our beautiful special podcast. Iyad here at the scene with your boys, Marwan
It's your boy
and
Weez.
Muhir.
Yo, what's good?
So, Muhir again, no video today,
No,
but that is A-OK.
we're not gonna get a new video
Because,
from me until most likely this quarantine is over and I can upgrade all my stuff. So,
so hopefully the quarantine never ends, but that aside,
then nobody gets to see my beautiful face, man.
All right.
so yeah, how are you guys today?
Good. We just finished wrapping up the second day of our game show.
Mm,
So, for a lot of you watching or listening to this anytime before the game show is released, I guess that builds up the anticipation, which is always good. But today was a good day. It was a bit shorter than yesterday, I think. Was it? Not really.
mm.
Oh yeah, it
I think
was.
it's about
We
this.
spent a bit longer waiting, but it was shorter, and I think it went fairly smoothly. How was your experience, guys?
Pretty good, yeah.
Yeah, it was good. Honestly, I think the 20-minute mark was spot on.
Hmm. It went by pretty
It
fast.
was
I didn't expect it.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. It was just enough to like get a little deep, but
Mhm.
not enough to overkill any conversation. You know what I mean? So
Mhm.
it's kind of like a tease. So it's a prolonged tease. And the nice thing about it is now we have the ability to DM. So access to that channel is going to be very interesting.
Yeah, I feel like on day three, when everyone is finally back into the game, so there is a break after day two. But when everyone is back, I feel like because of DMs being open now, people are going to come in with completely different mentalities, and obviously a lot is going to have happen during that break. So we'll see how it goes. Are you guys planning
I
on
mean,
Yeah.
using that DM funnel a lot, or
Not sure to be honest.
yeah, I already
Mama's face
started.
told me something completely different there. He's like, I think he's gonna be using the DMs a lot.
Bro, YG said it. Go down in the DM, my guy.
All right, cool, cool. So, with that being said, what is the topic of conversation today, guys? Marwan had suggested something interesting. Go for it.
Yeah, I mean, in light of Drake dropping a new track, and possibly that mix he's talking about with a bunch of different unreleased tracks, we were thinking of talking about music and our evolution of taste in music. Um, because I find like my taste in music has definitely evolved over the past few years.
Hmm.
We started off, well, I can't speak for everyone,
Wait, let's
but
let's make a specific time frame and tell me the type of music you were listening to in this time frame. So tell me
Yeah,
what you
like
were listening to first in like
okay,
around sixth grade, and then around maybe eighth, ninth grade. So sixth grade is around time you're finishing elementary school where you're starting to really listen to music, right? And then
yeah,
around the time you're starting secondary school, not secondary school, midway through secondary school. So around like grade 11, grade 10. Tell me about it at the end of high school and then start of university and then now at the end of university. So in that kind of time
okay.
period. So how did it evolve for you,
So,
Mahmoud?
funny enough, in around grade six, the actually my first introduction to Western music there was a version of GTA.
What do you mean by
I don't
your first
remember.
introduction to Western music? What did you do before that?
Uh, so before that, I had very little experience in Western music. Keep in mind that I grew up in Saudi Arabia, so the there wasn't much influence, or at least because of my young age at the time, I didn't have
you weren't
access to
exposed.
many
Yeah.
channels. Exactly, this was back before like the internet and all that stuff, or at least back before the internet was
Became a thing.
Easily
Yeah.
was
accessible. Yeah.
exactly. And I remember one of the first albums that I listened to actually was "Get Rich or Die Trying." If I'm not mistaken, the way that happened is back then. Essentially, there was a version of GTA. I don't remember if it was Vice City or San Andreas, but one of them came a special edition with 50 cents CD on the other side. So you had the GTA on one side of like the game thing, and on the other side was Get Rich or Die Trying. And that album was like my introduction to essentially hip hop. Um, Fast forward a few years till grade six. So this was around grade one ish. Come grade six, that's all I listened to. Old school hip hop. It was I ended up that's when really like the internet started blowing up, and I was old enough to get access to things like Pirate Bay and all those things. And so Yeah, those were like the good old LimeWire days.
Back when you used to
But
torrent all the music illegally. Yep.
but the way I did it was I went on Pirate Bay and I downloaded a top 100 rap songs of all time. And to this day, I still have that top 100. Not all of the songs, 'cause I didn't like all of them, but I do have that top 100. And so between, let's say, grade 6 and grade 9, I exclusively listened to old school hip hop, with a few exception of some of the popular music that came out at the
Yeah.
time, like the Lil Wayne's, the who else was big at the time,
Eminem.
Eminem, and so on and so forth. But for the most part, it was just like the old school hip hop. So you had a lot of Ice Cube, N.W.A., you had Wu Tang, and all those things. So it was a very violent, very aggressive rap. And like looking back at it, it's hilarious. You're just a little shrimp with a walking around with a bag that's half of your
Yep.
size. Like, you know those like those
Yep.
elementary school kids that walk around with the school bag that's literally half their size. That was
Yeah.
literally me. And in my earphones, like I was running the trap, bro.
Right.
You know what I mean? So like it's just a hilarious
And
contrast.
also, one thing I noticed though is a lot of people who immigrated here. So all three of us are actually immigrants, and a lot of us who immigrated here when we first immigrated, if we're not in like a really rich area or like a, whatever I mean, like if we did move into a ghetto or whatever like that, I feel like you end up getting into rap pretty much almost all the time, right? Like there's no way you're not into rap once you immigrate into the ghetto back in those days. Everyone gets into rap then because everyone's listening to rap around you too.
100%. But funny enough, actually, around grade 9, I don't know what it is, but I had to transition into electronic music.
Oh yeah. All right. Mm-hmm.
Yes, it wasn't a complete. This was around the time of the tectonic. This was when like that kind of music became super popular. And there's a specific song called "Castles in the Sky" by DJ Satomi. That was around the time of Darude Sandstorm and um, what was the other super popular one?
What's it
Dota
called? Oh yeah,
by
Dota, Bass
Bass
Hunter, Bass
Hunter.
Hunter.
Yeah, and so
You say
that
Dota?
I was
Dota
yeah.
by Bass
This
Hunter.
Yeah, I know. I
and the
heard
funny
it
thing
from my
is,
friend. All I ever want
Yeah,
is Dota 2
yeah.
beta. Eh.
And so that was kind of my introduction into that, into the world of electronic music. That I think lasted about a year, and then it went right back into hip hop. But this time it was more mellow. So I had different artists, more along the lines of Jonas, J. Cole, Joey Badass, and like those. But I'm talking like early days. Like I was on J. Cole in grade, I think it was 10 and 11. Like I'm
Get
talking
a
like
load of
Friday
this
Night
guy. He's
Lights.
trying to tell everyone that he was on these popular artists first, like those YouTube comments, like
No, no,
I
okay.
was here
Poster.
To
before
be fair, hold
everyone
up, hold up, hold
else.
up. To be fair, it wasn't me who like it was one of my boys who was actually a producer who was producing music at that time. Like he dropped out of high school to produce music. We were chilling, and he put me up. He's like, you know what? I got you. I'm gonna hook you up with one hell of a playlist. And he gave me the Joey Badass album. Was it 1999?
Oh right, one of his earliest album. I don't think. I think it
Yeah,
might
yeah,
be
yeah.
1995 if it's a number, but yeah.
Something like that. And then he put me on that. He put me on ASAP. He put me on Friday Night Lights from J. Cole and The Warm Up also J. Cole. And so that was kind of my introduction into that world. Big Crit and a couple of other ones. Like the new school that was coming up at the time. So it was a lot more mellow. That I kept going for a few years. I would say come university, I was still on that vibe. Towards the end of university though, my catalog expanded a little bit, and now I think I have a fairly decent mix. A little bit of R&B, not too much. A little bit of what's the word I'm looking for? Like Afrobeat. Uh, a lot of grime. There's been a lot of introduction of grime to my playlist recently. A little bit of French rap, just a little bit, and but everything else has remained kind of the same, you know. But I think that's kind of my evolution of music. So I kind of went
Mm-hmm.
from like really hardcore to electronic to kind of more mellow, and now I'm more well-rounded within the realm of hip hop.
Hip hop,
I'm
right?
not too big into yeah, exactly. I tried listening to other things like country or rock. So like we've listened to rock on drives, like long drives. Like we put on some Nirvana, we put on some Pink Floyd, we put on some things like
Queen.
Prince,
Mm.
Queen, and those things. But for the most part, I think I've stuck pretty closely to hip hop. I don't know, it just the rhymes, the schemes, everything just clicks with me.
Mm-hmm. How about you? Yeah, did you feel the same? You have different.
Well, I have a bit of a difference, but
Are you
see
writing
what
this
I'm
down?
doing.
Like, okay,
Yeah,
there you go.
I
This
have
guy.
like a whole plan of
Oh
my
wow. Okay.
of my music career. So if you want to start at a sophomore here, and then I can.
Oh no, for
Uh,
sure. Yeah. So for me, grade six, I had an older brother. I mean, not had. I have an older brother.
you still have
I have an old.
it.
He's dead to me. I have an older brother who's 4 years older than me, and he used to listen to a lot of rap. So the
Mm,
first thing for me was rap. You know, that's what I grew up with: 50 Cent, Eminem, Spandy, 12, and all those things back in the days. I used to really like what's 50 Cent's group G Unit, was it? I
G
used to
Unit,
like
yeah.
listening to individual artists
I
from
think.
G Unit, like Lloyd Banks and everything, way back in the days. And then maybe after like a year or two, once YouTube started really getting like a start, a lot of anime music videos used to have Linkin Park used as the background
Mm,
music, you know. So back in the days, there used to be AMVs, these anime music videos, used to be very popular on YouTube, where people would just edit up anime scenes and put like a really good rock music in the background, and it just makes me like feel hyped and everything for the anime and also the song. So that got me into rock music a lot, and Linkin Park was like my go-to band for a while. And then I got into a lot of different rock bands. And then slowly, for some reason, I got into classical music. I used to almost exclusively listen to classical music for like months on end. And to this day, I still listen to classical music. But anyways, and then I transitioned into listening to rap again. You know, all the new contemporary rappers, all those different things. And then around the start of university, end of high school, start of university, I was on the EDM stage too. I used to do EDM a lot, like all these, like popular brands of, not brands, sorry, popular EDM bands. I used to follow them along, and then listen to all their tracks. You got Avicii and all those different peoples. I used to listen to
mm,
all their tracks. But then eventually it got to a point, like around second year university, I just started getting annoyed by EDM music. It just started feeling very obnoxious and too loud. And suddenly, just like a click, I completely dropped it. And I went back to rap, mellow music, like Mahwan said, the calmer rap music. I feel like at that point in our lives, we all kind of got into that. And then towards the end of university, I transitioned into mostly like Nujabes and stuff. If that, I don't know if that's a. I feel like he's his own genre of music. It's not really
Who?
lo-fi. Nujabes. It's not really lo-fi. It's like very mellow beats, but like basically, I got into the whole lo-fi and mellow beat stuff. I'm gonna be a bit like Mahwan here, but I got into all those stuff before that whole YouTube stream of lo-fi music to study to. Before that thing really kicked off and everyone started hopping onto lo-fi, I used to listen to lo-fi when it was still like an underground genre, where you would see like 10,000 views on all these lo-fi videos and that's it. And I used to listen to individual songs before the playlist used to be made. So
Oh,
that's what
wow.
I transitioned into towards the end of university, and then nowadays, ever since I met my girlfriend, I started listening to a lot of old school rock that she enjoys, like Supertramp and all that stuff. Pink Floyd, Supertramp, all those. I started listening to it because of her, but I really, really love them now. So for me, it's like at this point in my life, when it's studying, I listen to classical music. When I'm chilling, I listen to rap, trap. When I'm driving, I listen to rock music. So I'm listening to pretty much any genre. Pretty open minded about that now. So like Mahuan said too, like I'm more well rounded now. But unlike
mm.
him, I'm not really into just hip hop anymore. It's more everything around. So yeah, how about you, Ed? How was yours?
Yeah, so just one quick look for
So for those of
audience
you
if they
on
want to see
Spotify, Ia
the
did a
little
whole
blueprint here.
Ia did a whole chart with a bunch of arrows and words.
Yeah, so
Go ahead.
just before I start, for me, I've always found music to be a little difficult to get into. I don't know why. I think, like, for me personally, most songs that I listen to, I can't like it from a first listen. I just can't get into the vibe or into the groove of the music. I'd have to give it more than one listen.
Wait, is
Only
it so? Do you still find it enjoyable, but you don't know how to vibe to it, or is it more like I can't even find enjoyment out of this?
I don't know. It's like there's so much going on for me to comprehend that I need more than one listen to actually, get into the proper headspace, I guess, or
Okay.
to, feel what I'm, like to get into the groove. So it's I don't know. It's a little weird, but to date, I think only three songs have got me where it's like, I've listened to them like from the first listen. I'm like, holy shit, yo,
Are they all
this is
Eminem?
hype. This is amazing. No, no, actually, surprisingly, none of them are Eminem.
Are one of them
So
Kendrick?
no, no, no. So Two of them are by Queen, Bohemian Rhapsody
Of course,
and
that's a good song. Yeah.
Can't Stop Me Now or Don't
Right.
Stop Me Now. I can't remember, right?
Can't Stop Me Now.
Those two.
Oh no, it is Don't
and
Stop Me Now, I think.
Don't Stop Me Now, yeah. And then the third one is by an Arabic singer. And so I remember where my uncle was driving and he had this song on, and it was like a 15-minute song. And I was like, bro, this thing is a gift that keeps on giving. Just when you think it's over, the second
Yeah,
part plays,
actually,
I'm like, yo.
a lot of those old school rock music used to be like very long, just like the same way as the Arabic music. They used to be like
Yeah,
forever, you know? Yeah.
Absolutely.
Wait,
So
you're gonna share the name or what's up?
for the Arabic,
Yeah, that
yeah.
song.
So
What
it
is
was, it was by the singer who passed away recently. His name is Milham Barakat, and he would do like tarab or classical Arab music, and it was the song that in specific was called Zuhur al-Qamar, which means, I guess, the showing of the moon or whatever. So, anyway, yeah, it was like a 15-minute song, but it's hype. I listen to it every now and then. So the way it started off for me initially, music when I was younger, grade 6 or grade 5, it would be things that that would be hype around the time, based off what people are
so
listening
pop
to, or
music?
yeah, pop. Or I remember, like, specifically around grade 6, grade 7, in the Emirates, Masari was popping off. Like, you would
Right.
hear
He was
Masari
popular here too.
everywhere.
Yeah, actually everywhere.
What?
Yeah.
Whoa, this guy, like, Real Love, you hear that shit, you're like, oh shit,
Everywhere,
everybody's
exactly.
singing it,
Yeah.
So Masai was big. And then so yeah, around that time, around that age, it was mostly what I listened to was the things that would pop off that would make a huge scene on
So Akon,
a
Sean
global
Kingston,
level.
and all them, eh?
Akon, yeah, things like, Smack That and
T-Pain, yeah.
Lonely and T-Pain, things like that, right? And then, of course, the classical Arabic stuff, and Arabic pop and things like that. And then when I came here to Canada, I started listening to even more songs because now I'm more exposed to more Western music or English music. So things I remember vividly, another one that popped off was by Iaz.
Replay. Yeah,
Replay.
I used to call it Iyad for so many years because of you. I feel like Iyad every time I read it because of you. But that song is amazing. Like, yeah.
Yeah, bro. He dropped that song and then he disappeared. Nobody knows where
He's
he
a
went.
one-hit wonder, bro. That's what he was. A one-hit wonder.
So yeah, and then at the time is when I also started getting into anime, and then a lot of opening music for a bunch of shows where it was really good. So I was like, yo, this shit's lit. I'm a weeb, but like, shit's hype. And then around and of course, again, other things that would be popular at the time, specifically pop, just because I find with pop it's like the most common denominator. Everybody listens to pop, so it was huge on the
Hey,
radio.
Iyad,
And
just
then-
as a side note, you and me
Yeah.
both for those anime openings. I love them. I still love them.
Bro,
I admit it to the
good shit.
world. They're
Yeah.
great. I love endings. I love openings. They're just
Let's get
amazing.
it, bro.
I don't know how you guys listen to that. I skip that all.
Oh
the
no, I
time.
don't listen to them when I watch the anime. I listen to them like separately on YouTube. I'll go and search the opening and listen to it. But I
can't do
hate it
that.
during the anime. I skip it every time. I want to watch the anime, not the opening.
My issue with that is just I can't listen to something I don't understand.
You don't understand. Okay.
Yeah, but it's for
Fair
it's the way it sounds for me. That's all.
Yeah, some of them like sound lit.
It
I'm like,
hypes me up, and also it reminds you of the anime too. For some reason, like let's say I'm listening to a Naruto opening, I kind of get reminded of like the Naruto scenes, the opening scenes.
nostalgia?
Yeah, the nostalgia feels
Yeah.
good. Anyway, sorry. Yeah, continue.
Yeah, no, that's okay. So that's when I started getting to that, and then around grade 10, end of grade 10 is when I first started. I would say end of grade 9 or halfway through grade 10. End of grade 10 is when I started getting into Eminem. So before that, my idea of rap was, it's all BS, it's all swearing, cock, pussy, whatever. We got demonetized, shit like that. So
Thank you.
I was like,
Thank you very much.
I'm a good kid. I'm not gonna listen to this shit, But yeah, but then I started getting to Eminem. I was like, yo, whoa, there's some lyrics here. There's some stories being told and wordplay and stuff. So that was hype. And then from there, more you introduced me later on to Hobson.
Right.
So that was thanks to you. Hobson was like, yo, this guy's, he's lit, he's hype. And then university started. Everybody makes fun of me because I'm a big Eminem stan. But
Oh wait, guys, this guy had an Eminem G-Shock watch. He loves Eminem.
I still have it, bro.
He still has it. He loves Eminem. He has
I'll tell you, I'm the biggest Eminem stan.
He prays Eminem right before sleep every night. And
okay, not that far, but
I'm just gonna pause for a second. I think today was the 10-year anniversary of Love the Way You Lie or something like that.
Oh,
I think
I
it
really?
was
saw it
recent,
Let
online.
me
but
let me
maybe,
Google it. Let me
yeah.
Google it.
Yeah.
So there's that, and then so in university is when everybody started making fun of me and shit, and then I guess Slow is like, you know what, I should give other artists a chance. I should check out other genres. So I started getting into Kendrick again, thanks to Muhir. I got to J Cole because of my ex. She was as much of a big Eminem fan that I was or that I am. It was the same thing for her, but for J
I
Cole.
feel
So
like a
she
lot of
introduced me
girls are
to
like
J
super
Cole.
big fans of J. Cole.
Probably,
Yeah,
possibly. I've tend to notice that too.
yeah,
But
I've noticed a few from
J
mine
Cole's
as well
hype.
too. Yeah.
Yeah. And then yeah, so I started now listening to more artists, Macklemore, Kendrick, Lil Wayne. Started listening to old songs that I've been missing out on, and
Mm-hmm.
again, I still have to listen to tracks more than once to get into the groove. But now I'm realizing like, yo, I have a whole lot of music that I've been missing out on. And then during the university time or my time at university, I also started listening to more Arabic music that I've also missed out on, whether it's classical or more recent stuff. So I try to keep up with it. And what else? Let me see what else I have on here. And the lofi. Unfortunately, I'm not a hipster like you guys. I started hopping on the lofi trend after all
Do
those
you use it for studying
24/7.
or like you
Yeah.
just enjoy it?
Sometimes just as a background. Sometimes while I'm studying. But I think it's chill and calm enough that you can
Yeah.
just do whatever and
So studies
really
actually show
interrupt.
you should not be using music with vocals when you're studying
Hmm.
because you tend to get those words in your mind while you're kind of like reading those words, right? So you should be
I
listening to
see.
anything without vocals. That's why
I see. I see.
classical helps best.
So yeah, and then speaking of classical, I've been a fan of classical ever since I was young
Yes.
because classical is amazing, bro.
Yes, it
Like I
is.
don't know how people are sleeping out
I
on
get
classical,
goosebumps
but
anytime I listen to like a lot of really good classical music. I get goosebumps. I get goosebumps very fast, but yeah, it's really good.
so yeah. And then the other thing is, so right now, if a song is really good, I wouldn't really care what genre it is, whether it's
Mm-hmm.
country or
Mm-hmm.
rap or whatever. I think if I enjoy it enough, then it's whatever. It's hype, whether no matter what the genre. So right now, my personal goal is to try and listen to different genres and see what type of other music that I would be into.
That's a good
So
mindset,
yeah,
man.
that's my current music career.
Yeah, actually,
Um,
I appreciate that mindset because that's what I'm going with too. Like, I feel like people, I'm not saying it's a bad thing, but people tend to say I'm a hip hop fan and then they kind of close off other genre completely. I know
right.
a lot of people that do that. They like these songs are good and you can see them vibing to it, but they're like, I wouldn't listen to them because they're not the genre I listen to normally. It's like, yeah, they're not, but if you're enjoying it, why don't you give it a try, right?
Yeah, like
Like,
it
how
wouldn't
does that
matter.
hurt you? Maybe you did discover that you have another genre you like.
Mhm. Mhm.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna hit you guys with a question.
What up?
If you had to pick a decade, like you could select whichever 10
For
years,
music,
where would you say music was hella popping?
for me, it's T Pain Akon Age for sure. That was my favorite
I,
because that follows me
I, I
so
would
hard.
say between uh, I'd say '04 to 14, 2004 to
Exactly, yeah, exactly. T
Yeah,
2014.
Pain and all those
I think
things
that's a
started
good
around
range.
that time. Exactly. So I feel like, well, it might also be the nostalgia of us growing up with these music, but I feel
Right.
like back in the days, everyone used to listen to the same music in our circle, you know? Like, I remember when Akon dropped Smack That, we were 6-year-old kids that didn't understand the lyrics,
Mm.
and we were all singing Smack That, you know? Not
Suck that
6-year-old, sorry, in
on the
6th grade,
floor,
you
it's
know?
like that. Yeah.
And like everyone used to sing it in my grade 6 class. And we're all a bunch
Oh,
of French
trust me.
kids who don't even know English, yet we all say Smack That, like we're just saying that out loud, you know? So I think that was like a really good time.
I think so too. I think
Yeah,
that period between 2004 to 2014 is well for me maybe 2007 2017, but it's within that range, and I
for
think
sure.
it's a solid
I mean, I think it's at that
decade.
point there was still music was popping in a very different way in the sense that people were not recycling the beats as much. Styles were very different. Different styles were emerging.
Because they're not just on
I
YouTube
feel
for you
like
to go to, you know?
yeah, but I feel like in general now it's more. How can I say this? A lot of the music is similar.
It's saturated.
You know, well, for one, it is, and for two, I find that a lot of artists are kind of merging into this melting pot of music.
Mm.
For hip hop, for example, like there's this mumble rap trend,
Well, that kind of died off
where
now, but yeah.
like yeah, but I mean, there was a period where
Yeah.
everyone and their
I
mom
was doing it,
was doing
yeah.
that. Now it's more like the trap kind of.
Trap is kind of closing off now, I think. But it
That's what
was,
I was.
yeah,
Yeah,
for
that's
a
what I was.
year it was
That's what I
trap.
was gonna say. trap was really closing up. I feel the one that's really popping now is grime. Even like Western, well, not Western, like even like North American artists are starting to hop on that grime train.
Are you just
So I
referring
feel
to
we're gonna
Drake right
start.
now?
Well, not just Drake. There's a couple of other ones that are they're hopping on tracks. What's his name? Even Stormzy's about to release. Like he released a couple of tracks with different people. Burna Boy, he released tracks with Ed Sheeran. So like a lot of different
Hmm.
artists are hopping onto the grime scene. He's actually set to release a track with Jay Z too,
Oh, really? Oh,
which means Jay
nice.
Z is hopping onto the grime scene. You know what I mean? So
Mm-hmm.
a lot of the grime beats are getting used more and more, or grime style beats are getting used more and more
Right.
in like North American scene. So I'd be very interested to see where that goes. For the time being, I think we're coming out of a dark age. I feel like music kind of goes through phases where it's like a good time and then a bad 4 or 5 years. I think we're finally starting to emerge out of that bad 4 or 5 years.
Hmm.
The thing with that bad 4 to 5 years, maybe we didn't enjoy those like that music or whatever. Like for me personally, I didn't enjoy mumble rap, but I know my younger sister who is 10 years younger than me. That's the type of stuff that she would listen to a lot. And so with that being said, I feel like I don't want to be the old man like, oh, get out of my lawn. Back then, back in
Hmm.
my day, that's when we had music because it's relative and it
I
changes
hate
over
those
time.
comments, man. When people are like, "Yo, back in the days, we used to be better music." No, it's better music for you, but like these
Yeah,
kids enjoy different things. They like something else, you
exactly.
know.
Exactly. When hip hop first started taking off, people were like, "Oh, yo, screw that." Rock is where it's at. But when rock was first starting to take off, people were like, "Yo, screw rock. That's the music of the devil," and all that stuff. So
Dude, for hip hop,
it's
like
cyclical.
people from
Yeah.
different like classes and statuses used to hate on it. Now, like all these rich people love hip hop. You know, back in the days, like the rich people would be like, "Nah, hip hop is for the plebs. You know, it's for the peasants." Now it's like, "Nah,
Mm,
everyone is on it."
everyone's on it.
It's
So it
ridiculous.
definitely, it's a mindset that generations have. I think.
Exactly. Yeah.
I don't think it's just that though. I mean, just the message behind the music. I find
Okay.
like we were through a phase where there was no positive messages. It was all talking about like abuse of different substances for at least
Wait, what
for
are
the
you
whole
talking
period of
about? Early on in
Like
hip hop, it
sex,
used to be
drugs.
no, no, I know that, but early on in
Yeah.
hip hop, it used to first. Yeah, I feel like hip hop, especially rap, for example, let's specify rap. It
Mm-hmm.
started off with like first people talking about gangs, their conflicts and all that shit, and then eventually it progressed into using rap for dissing and all those things, and then money and bitches and all those things, and then finally it moved on to now being like drug abuse, money and bitches.
but like that's the thing. I feel we had a period like during the J Cole, the early J Cole, the early Joey Badass, the early like
Keeps
those guys.
forgetting
They was
Kendrick.
yes, Kendrick.
Yo, you're
Kendrick is the
triggering my boy
greatest
Muya
rapper
here.
alive.
Okay, relax, buddy. Okay, relax.
Guys, there's no argument
Um,
here. Continue talking.
no, but like there was a period where things were getting a lot better in general, and then we went into another dark phase. I find that every time there's a new come up of new artists, things tend to go south. Like we had this whole new face tat artist like
Yeah, they
era.
come in batch. That's the
You know,
thing. They come in batch and then they leave in batch. A lot of them don't stay, but like, yeah. Some of them
I
adapt
mean
though,
they
so it's really
leave.
nice.
No, no, no. I'm not saying no, but a lot of the music is super like there's no message behind it.
No.
You know, and I understand to a degree. Like I'm not saying don't make bangers. Absolutely, go for it. You know, produce the stuff that sometimes you just want to listen and enjoy the beat or enjoy something
Like
like
Lil
mind
Pump.
numbing.
Yeah. Lil Pump, I feel like his lyrics are so trash. Yeah, I used to hate Lil Pump because I'm like, why would you listen to this guy saying Gucci Gang 900 times in
Gucci
like
gang, Gucci
2 minutes,
gang,
right?
yeah.
But then when it became a meme and people started making fun of it, it just got fun to. Sorry, my voice cracked there. It just got fun to say Gucci Gang for no reason, you know? And then when everyone starts singing Gucci Gang, it feels good to just sing along to it. Then I'm like, okay, you know what? This song is kind of fun to listen to, so I can see why it's popular. It
One
happens.
hundred percent.
Yeah.
But what I'm saying is that I find that that is dying off, for which is a good thing. I mean, it's
Of
gonna come
course,
back as
yeah,
a
it's
new
horrible.
generation pops up.
Hmm.
But like for example, I was comparing this to the 2012 XXL freshman list. You had your Hobsons, your MGKs, and then
Here,
right the
let's
year
take a
after, I
look
think
at
you had
my screen
Chance.
here.
You know, there was you had Danny Brown.
What
Who
would
else
they
was on
call
that?
rap freshmen?
XXL freshman of 2012 to 2014. I think 2011 to 2014 was bomb, past 2014, it just went
So
downhill
we had
straight.
in 2012, we had Rick Ross, Childish Gambino. Wow, these guys were from 2012. Macklemore was in
Yeah,
2012. Interesting.
Yeah.
Pusha T, Two Chains. Oh no, these are plus.
Wow.
Sorry. Okay, so these are plus. So we have Future. So these are just the guys that came in. So in 2012, we have Future, which is interesting because Future is insanely big right now. To think, oh, okay, out of all that group, Future is probably the biggest one right now. Future and Macklemore were both from the 2012. We have Kid Ink, Danny Brown, French Montana. He's from 2012. Interesting. Don Tripp, Machine Gun Kelly, Hobson was in 2012. Iggy Azalea was in 2012, and then Roscoe Dash. Wow.
you see, like that was a solid lineup. And then I think either 2013 or 2014, you had Childish and a couple other really good ones too. Past that, it turned real quick into face tat
Yeah. So if
rappers.
you look
You
into
know,
2016, you start already seeing Lil Yachty, Lil Uzi Vert, Designer. But you do have good artists like Denzel. Well, I mean, these guys are okay, but Denzel Curry is a great artist. And then you have Anderson
Lil
Paak,
Dicky.
Savage, 21 Savage. You know, they were there in 2016. And then nowadays, let's take a look at 2019 because I feel like 2019 is like an interesting transition. Yeah, so you
I
have
don't think I know a single name.
Blueface. Of course, you got Blueface. You have Tierra Whack, or whatever her name is. The Baby's there. Lil Mosey's there. So okay, here's the thing. Kind of on a tangent here. Lil Mosey made that one beat that was very bubbly but trappy, kinda. I don't know if that makes sense. If you listen to Lil Mosey, you know what that sounds like. It's like a bit too bubbly and happy, but it's not. It's meant to be trap music. It's a bit melodic, right? But then you listen to literally any single song he drops after that, and every single one of them sound exactly the same to me. Like I'm pretty much everyone else in the comment. He makes the same song 20 times. And yet every single video has like 10 million views, by the way. Makes no sense to me. Anyways.
Wow.
Roddy Ricch was in 2019. Rico Nasty in 2019. Gunna in 2019. Megan Thee Stallion in 2019. Oh, and then you also have... Yeah, okay, so yeah. There you go. Oh, YNB Corday. So he's definitely one of the best ones in 2019 for sure.
I mean, I'm just gonna say the overall quality is on a decline.
More or less,
From
yeah.
from at least from a message standpoint, from an influence standpoint, and then from a lyric
I
standpoint.
think from
I
lyrics,
think
yeah.
I'm not saying, but even you can even look at influence and message. You can't even lie. Like
Message,
don't get me
maybe
wrong, I'm not
not,
saying
yeah.
maybe not.
No, because if you look at
We
2019 and then you look at, like, for example, Corday, he raps with, like, proper message and everything. His lyrics are great. The Baby obviously raps a lot about, like, money, bitches, and whatever, but he actually has extremely good skills in terms of writing lyrics. If you listen to some of the Baby's song, like, his lyrics are really solid. Gunna, his lyrics can be very solid, too. Like, these guys can be good. I think they're kind of changing up their lyrics and stuff like that, feeding to the mass, because that's what sells, right? So that might be it. That's what I think. That's why they're doing it because they're talented on their own. I think they're just trying to make money. So
And if it's making money, then
why
don't fix
not,
what's not broken.
bro? I'm down to sound like Blueface if I can make $1 million. No problem.
I don't know
I'll
who
be
Blueface
offbeat
is,
for you,
but
bro. Blueface
for
is
$1 million,
offbeat.
I'll do it, bro.
Yeah, he's known to be constantly. So everyone always says it's Blueface versus the beat because he can never be on beat.
Well, how are you popular with being
But that's the
like
thing. It's because
offbeat?
of his lyrics. But like, if you listen to any of his songs, especially "Bust Down Tatiana," right? That song. If you listen to it, you'll see him. Like he starts singing after the beats already have started. Like, and he goes on like the wrong note every time. It's so bad. But
Oh
because
man,
it's catchy, it caught on.
they caught off.
I don't know, man. I feel like I'm curious to see where the new decade brings us. I find the 2020 2010 to 2020 was a really solid decade, and not only for hip hop, like for pop music, it was hella nice.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we had like Katy Perry, Adele. If you
Yeah,
consider
they were
Adele
good. They
pop.
were good. Yeah.
Yeah. We had some good milestones.
I don't know. It'd be very interesting to see where the new decade takes us.
You know what I find funny is that
Yeah.
at
Can you
one
come a
point.
bit closer to your microphone, please?
Oh, sorry. Okay, so you know what I find funny is that before the 2010s, boy bands were the thing, bro.
All right.
There were so
One
many boy bands,
Direction and all
bro.
those
One
things. Yeah.
Direction, Big Time Rush, you had is it Nickelback? I don't know, but like
Nickelback
you
is not a
had,
boy band, but I think you
but
mean the Jonas Brothers and all those things.
yeah, you know, like they were
Nickelback was
huge,
a
bro.
bunch of 35-year-old men, bro. But they okay. Nickelback is very good. I don't know why people
Okay.
hate on them. Anyways, continue.
Anyways, right. So like boy bands were the thing. But now if you tell me come listen to a boy band, I'd be like, stay away from me, bro. Like, we're not talking, you know?
Yeah, but low key, some of those songs are pretty bomb. But I can't be telling
Absolutely.
people I listen to them.
Absolutely. Like, for sure. But it's just funny seeing the transition of boy bands were being like a big thing, and now you don't see that anymore.
You
So
don't, yeah.
it's interesting.
I mean, actually, you know what? Actually, is also very interesting. We had a crazy K-pop phase.
I
I mean,
think
there
are
still
we
is.
still not
The
in it?
thing is,
Yeah.
K-pop. The thing about K-pop is, it's such a big thing right now. But North America started seeing glimpses of it here and there. But the rest of the world, especially the Eastern world, they're huge.
They've
They're like
been
dominating. You know,
and
my sister explained to me that a lot of K-pop bands, what they do is they'll have, you know how they have a lot of members.
hmm
So maybe one day we can do a K-pop episode and with someone who actually knows what they're talking about. But just from what my sister said, and my sister is a big K-pop fan, she said a lot of
there you
them they'll
go.
have a bunch of Chinese members and all those things, so that they can make the exact same song or different songs in Chinese
Oh,
variation, so they can sell to the Chinese market as well.
wow.
Yeah, so a K-pop band,
Interesting.
same name, they'll just have another song in
It's
Chinese just for the Chinese market.
interesting.
Yeah. So out of a 20 members, they might have like 15 Koreans, 5 Chinese, and like basically have a separate group within the group. Yeah.
Wow.
It's interesting because that reminds me of like Masada used to remix some stuff and have like a little Arabic
A
added in.
little Arabic in there. Yeah.
Yeah.
But back to that K-pop thing. My brother told me that this is something that when he told me, I was like, oh, yo, this sucks. So because South Korea, you have to do military service. A
Yeah.
lot of these K-pop bands have to break up after a couple of years because the members have to go and do their military
They do
service.
it at 18?
I'm not sure honestly, but when that happens though, so when that band breaks up, another band comes in, and then it starts being huge. And then when those members are done their military service, I don't think I don't know if any of them have come back or made a comeback after military, but it's something that sucks to see happen because you have these um, groups that make it big,
Like you're popping off and then you have to cut it short.
and then yeah, that's
When
it.
you're
We're
supposed to be
done.
riding the wave, you're cut short. But so it says here, typically they will first graduate high school and complete 1 or 2 years of university and then start their military service. So it's in their early 20s. So from the glimpse of here, if you finish high school at 18 and you do 2 years of uni, you're looking at around 19 to 20 years old is around the time they do it. That's pretty
It's
rough.
interesting because there's only one band that I'm aware of that's infiltrated my social media.
Is it
It's
BTS?
called BTS. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, but there's BTS, there's Blackpink, and there's all those other ones that are very
Yo,
popular.
is Blackpink still a thing? Because I've heard about, like, I used to hear about it a lot a few years ago, I think.
No, but
I
if
don't
you follow the Subtle Asian Trait Facebook page, that page is a bunch of memes with a bunch of Asian related memes. All of
Okay.
them like they go crazy for Blackpink. So I think it still
Wow.
is a thing.
It's still a thing. Okay,
Yeah.
interesting.
I mean, I can ask my
I
sister,
don't
but
know.
yeah.
I'd actually be curious about something about how we were discussing these trends about like Western music.
There's
I'd be curious to see
definitely
how
completely
different.
different, yeah.
But exactly, I'd be curious to see what the different trends are in, let's say, Eastern music or music from other languages. You
I'll
know?
tell you guys one thing though. I've noticed. I think hip hop in general, like American music, if we want to be even more specific, tends to reach the
Global,
globe.
yeah.
Yeah, much easier than any other music from any other region or language or culture. And I think part of it is because English is,
Universal language.
like basically it's a universal language, so it's easier, it's more accessible. So now we're trying, to, not trying, but now we're starting to see how other cultures or regions are starting to influence us. For example, with K-pop or
Yeah.
J-rock or things like that. But I think definitely English music tends to have a head start in that regards.
Yeah, I think any part of the world you go to, you ask them what type of music to listen to, and most likely you're gonna have music from their own country, from their own language. But
Mhm.
also you're gonna probably see a mix of English songs in there too. Like yeah, said you're gonna have some pop songs, some rap songs here and there for sure. I feel.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's like not even just English music. I feel the music that's kind of evolved the most would be hip hop. Maybe because
Do
it's
you think it's because that's the
the
one you
baby.
focused on though? I don't think that's the case. It might just be the one you paid attention to the most, so you notice those changes. If you look at rock,
Interesting.
it's
It's
considerably
possible.
different, bro. Rock back in the days used to be a lot more like
Huge.
it's about the instruments, like loud singing and all those things. And now, if you look at rock, it's not the same. It's a bit more poppy, like pop like, not poppy, but like pop like. I think
Oh,
rock
you guys.
transition, pop music transition, everything transition.
Um, quick side note. Can I make a little confession?
What's up?
Back in the day when Justin Bieber was first starting
He
off,
was good, bro.
I
Oh
used to
no no
like
no!
I
Yeah,
used to
here we
like
go.
some of his songs, bro.
Baby
I'm
was
not
a
gonna
good
lie.
track. Baby was a good track. Never Say Never was a good track. I don't know what you guys think, bro, but Baby Jaden's voice was pretty dope. That's the thing. I'm not afraid to say enjoy listening to Adele. I enjoy listening to Sia.
Oh yeah, of course.
They're good
Yeah, yeah.
artists that make good songs. People be like, "Oh no, you're a guy. Why are you listening to these girls singing and shit?" But like,
I
if
don't
it's a
think
good
I don't
song,
think
man,
that's a
why
thing
not?
anymore.
Yeah,
No,
that's
don't
it,
get me
bro.
wrong. Baby was not a good song. Yummy is a good song. I
Yummy
I've
is no,
like
but new Justin Bieber makes good tracks
it's
too,
catchy.
for sure.
Yeah, new Justin Bieber makes
I think his
I've
last
only
album
heard
was really
Yummy.
good. Yeah. By the
I mean,
way,
I've only
guys,
heard Yummy.
sorry. Go ahead. What?
Hmm.
No, I was gonna say it's
I was just gonna say I've
41 minutes
only
in. That's why
Oh,
we
here.
both were gonna say it. Mahuan, I'll let you talk. Go ahead, bro.
no. I was just gonna say that. Especially from like coming from being a hip hop head, I think that's the genre you get the most heat for listening to other things.
Hmm.
You kind of get discredited. You know, other kind of music. You're like, oh, I listen to rock and country and this and that. People are like, okay, cool. Um, but I find hip hop especially is one of those things where it's like, oh, you listen to not hip hop, and then it starts kind of
Also, you're
like,
saying within the hip hop community, they're harsher if you listen to things outside hip hop. For sure, I feel
absolutely.
like
You
they're the
kind of lose
most
credibility.
vocal. They're the most vocal outside K-pop. K-pop fans are way too vocal, but I feel like the hip hop community is very vocal and they're very protective of their own genre to the point where they want to cling on to you. And as soon as they leave, they're like, "What are you doing?" Blah blah. Yeah, for sure.
Do you think it could get to the level where they could come off as being pretentious?
Oh, 100%.
Uh,
100%. I know so many people who are hip hop heads that when you tell them, I really enjoy listening to pop, they'll start being very condescending. They're like, oh, pop. What can you listen to pop? Like, how are you listening to that?
right. No, but I mean, like even within the hip hop community itself, like in
Oh,
terms of
Absolutely.
bro, if you
artists.
listen to Kendrick and then someone is like, oh, I really enjoy listening to Blueface, they'll shit on you for listening to Blueface. It's like,
That's true.
why
I'm not gonna lie, that's true.
why would you be listening to Blueface when you have better, like, Marwan himself, I'm sorry, does that too. Like, he'd be like, I don't listen to this trash. I need them to have proper lyrics. None of these guys are trash. So he's clearly, like, saying, nah, these guys are shit.
But it's not only us. Like if you look at the recent interviews with a lot of these new era artists, they're going off on old like what's his
All
name?
right.
Somebody came up was like Tupac's boring. The other one
Lil
was like,
Pump called out all
uh,
the old ones for being shit, and then J.
yeah.
Cole made a song
Somebody
about that.
he even called out J Cole. Like
Yeah,
dude,
J. Cole made a song about
but
that.
like don't get me wrong. If you don't like the music, that's cool. But you have to understand that's the music that paved the way for you to be here
Exactly,
That's
today.
true.
exactly.
That's true.
That's
You
precisely
know,
what
like
J. Cole
you
has
cannot
said, yeah.
you cannot disrespect people who've literally done that in a time where they weren't allowed to do it.
Hmm.
You know, coming out and saying, "Oh, they're not great at what they do." The difference is, okay, maybe they're not like, for example, Tupac wasn't the biggest lyricist. For
Mhm.
lyricism, I'd give it to Biggie or Jay Z. But in terms of influence, if we're talking overall influence, like even look at Nipsey. I won't say Nipsey is the most lyrical artist. He's not, far from it. But in terms of impact on society, in terms of impact on these things, these are people who've left a legacy, who've left something
But that's
more
because
than
they were
just their
taken too
music.
soon, though. If you were looking at, I wonder, is Nipsey would Nipsey have had that much of an impact? No disrespect to Nipsey or any of his fans, but would he have had that much of an impact had he not passed away? I don't think so at all. Because
Well, I
honestly,
mean, think
I
about
didn't
Jay
listen to
Z.
him, and I didn't even know who he was until he passed away. And a lot of people are like
Same.
that too. So I don't think he would have had that much of an impact. A lot of things are easier said when it happens. Because he passed away, everyone starts talking about it. You're like, oh yeah, he has so much impact. But I think if he remained alive and kept making music, he would have just been having impact on his fans and nothing more. But now that he passed away, there's much more to it because he almost becomes like a martyr here, but not in a bad way, just in a good way.
Mhm.
He because of that, everyone wanted to use that as leverage for more, and that worked out. So I don't think that's the case, man. Tupac, same thing. I
Yeah,
don't
but
think he would have been the same. He definitely had one of the biggest impact on hip hop, but if had he not died, it wouldn't have been the same.
I mean, it's possible, but keep in mind those were people who were trying to do things outside of just the realm of hip hop. Like for example, he was trying to help people open up shops.
For
He
sure.
was
Yeah.
trying to I'm talking about Nipsey, open up shops. He was like giving kids business ideas. He was
Staying
trying to
where he grew up to help them out is huge for sure.
staying where he grew up, but also he was in talks with both Bloods and Crips and the LAPD to really um, I don't-
Get rid of the
to
disputes and the conflicts.
yeah, bro, to kind of reduce all this gang violence and stuff. So, like there was more to it than just the music. So that's why I'm saying like there's an impact, there's a social impact. Like even Tupac, he was coming out, it's like you guys gotta stop being these hard rappers. Like everyone was talking about screwing around and just like uh, being like although he was a gangster rapper, no one's denying that. He was also coming out and saying, you know what, if you want to break into movies, do it. If you want to break into acting, do it. He was like, you're not limited by the bubble that
Mm-hmm.
is the ghetto.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean? Like they were trying to pursue goals that were bigger than just music, and that's what I'm saying. That is something that's definitely lacking in the new era. I haven't seen many. I won't say any, but I haven't seen many new faces do that recently. Like, the most recent one is Nipsey, and Nipsey passed a little over a year ago at this point. And Nipsey wasn't young. Nipsey was in his 30s.
No, for sure,
You
for
see where
sure.
I'm going? But none of these youngs, and like if you look at it, Tupac left all that impact, and he was what 26 when he died. Same thing with Biggie. Biggie left a musical impact. He didn't leave a social impact.
No.
Tupac left a
Mm-hmm.
social impact. There's those people who die, and you're like, damn, he left a social impact. It was more than just like look at Muhammad Ali. He was a boxer, sure, but he left more. He left an impact outside of just the ring. Is what I'm trying to say. Like what makes an artist, I think. Um,
When they expand beyond just their musical career to help the community and like, yeah, okay, for sure. If they're
exactly,
leaving a
exactly.
mark like that, that makes sense. Like I can understand that. Yeah.
One thing I wanted to add that I find is really interesting about hip hop is you get that back and forth between rappers in terms of diss tracks and whatnot,
Yeah.
and
When it's all
it
in fun,
can,
it's so good.
yeah, but when it gets violent, then that's when
I mean, when people start taking it outside music and actually getting physical in real life, I think that's when it starts losing its charm. But until that
Mhm.
point, I think it's very exciting. You're always looking forward to what the next person is going to respond.
Yeah,
Like
like the
Drake and
wordplay.
Meek Mill. Meek Mill, was it?
Yeah, I
Yeah,
think so.
Drake and Meek Mill's. Like, I'm glad they worked things out, and that whole dispute created a lot of really good tracks, I feel. And yeah, that type of stuff is nice for the community, us fans. Like, it's fun for us to watch too, for sure. With that being said, it's 47 minutes. I did like talking about hip hop a lot. I think us three, we enjoy hip hop. I
Hmm.
suggest in the future we should do a podcast with our boy Yakub, who's a very,
Yeah.
very much a certified hip hop head. It would be cool to have him over and dedicate an episode to talking about our favorite artists in hip hop and why we like them and things like that. What do you guys say?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's a real man of culture.
Okay,
I'm
cool,
up
cool.
for it.
So with that being said, let's wrap things up. Any final words for you guys?
No, not
Mm.
really. We'll keep you guys updated on the game show and our feelings as this goes on.
Mm-hmm.
We're just, little snippets, and then when everything's up and running, you guys can go online and watch it. It's gonna be hella fun. That's all I'm gonna say. It's gonna be hella fun.
And for those of you, sorry, yeah, just one quick thing. For those of you
Yeah,
who are
yeah.
listening to the Spotify podcast, make sure you go subscribe to us on YouTube. It's Yellow on YouTube, and if you search Yellow Talks, you'll find our conversations we're having here. You can listen to the same podcast with our face on it. Well, not my face, but these two guys, and you'll see more content coming up soon. So, yeah.
Yeah, and just before we close it off, thank y'all for listening. I don't care what anybody says. Eminem is GOAT, and yeah, we'll see you guys soon.
Kendrick was better. All right, guys, take care.
All right, peace.